You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
What's up, Black and White sports fans? John Matrix here, and I'm back with another video. All right, folks, we're going back to the NBA once again, and we're going to be talking about the Steve Nash hiring somewhat, okay? We all know what Stephen A. Smith said. He actually called the hiring of Steve Nash white privilege. And we all know that it's completely inaccurate here. Rhodes already put up a video on that. I don't really need to repeat his talking points. I back him 100% on what he said. It was not white privilege, okay? But a former Laker and former Nets coach has actually come out and spoken about black coaches in the NBA or lack of opportunities per se, okay? And Byron Scott, he kind of slammed the players and put the players on the spot for them not advocating for black coaches. Now, me, myself, man, when it comes to coaches and, jobs around the league, I just want the best person for the job. That's it. But this is what Byron Scott actually had to say. He said, quote, "Our players don't do a good enough job of advocating for black coaches. That's something we have to change as well. It's just one of those things that's going to take time. We all know that, but I think it's something we have to pay attention to," he said. "I wouldn't say the onus is directly on them. I don't want to put that type of pressure on the players. I do want them to stand up for black coaches, though. I think they should be a little bit more involved in the process," close quote. Okay, so do I agree with what he said? I don't think he should be putting the players on the spot like that. I really, really don't. We know that the NBA players, they have a lot of power. And when it comes to coaching hires, I believe that the superstar players definitely have a lot of input in it. They do. Let's be honest, folks. They have a lot of power. And also, Byron Scott said that the black coaches that actually do get hired, they really don't get the good jobs. And I got kind of a problem with that, okay? Here's a case in point, all right? Before LeBron went back to Cleveland, okay, they hired David Black. And I do believe that Dan Gilbert did not know that LeBron was coming back to Cleveland. David Black is a white man. David Black is also not a very good NBA head coach, but that's definitely more on Dan Gilbert because the Cavaliers are a disaster, okay? So LeBron comes back. David Black is the coach. David Black lasted a hot second. He was fired the next season, and Ty Lue was given the opportunity, and he led them to a championship, and Ty Lue is black, okay? So it's not just black coaches given bad positions. White guys also. The Cavaliers were a dumpster fire, complete dumpster fire, okay? But the players, they want the power, and I would think that Byron Scott would actually want the players to have the power when it comes to making some coaching decisions. And let's be honest, folks, when Michael Jordan was in Chicago, when Doug Collins was his coach, Michael Jordan got him fired. Let's be honest, he got him fired. And then Phil Jackson comes in, and then the rest is what they say is NBA history. Okay? I don't think that the players necessarily see it as, when they see that coach, the coach that they want to play for, I don't think they necessarily see it as, oh, I want a black coach. I don't want a white coach. I don't think that. When Kyrie and KD, they vouch to get Steve Nash in there because apparently Steve Nash and KD have a close relationship from when he was with the Warriors. I believe that Steve Nash was some kind of a advisor or something like that, and they became pretty close. Race shouldn't even really come into play here. Black people have gotten opportunities in the NBA as coaches left and right. I mean, I can go on. I mean, there's a whole list. I mean, think of this, man. Going back into the 1960s, I believe, Bill Russell was a player and a coach, a black man, a player and a coach for the Celtics. and he won a championship. I just don't buy into this that what Byron Scott is saying, that black coaches are given the bad opportunities. Think of this, folks. If you have your superstar in place, okay? If that player already has the coach that he wants, it's going to be very, very hard actually to let that coach go. The superstar player would probably be very, very upset if he doesn't have his guys coach. So those guys are going to actually have more pull, you know? So that'll be your LeBrons, your KDs, players like that. So when the black coaches get the open positions, usually those open positions come from what? Teams that aren't very good. Okay? So a team with LeBron, they're winning games, they're winning championships. There's no way in the world really that position is necessarily going to become open. Okay? It's just not going to happen with those superstar players. Now, Scott Brooks was with KD, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in OKC. They were winning a lot of games. And of course, you know, they went to the finals. They didn't win the championship. You're just not going to fire him because his resume looks so good with those players. But once those players are gone, guess what? He was out of there. The Thunder they weren't too good. Now they've kind of rebuilt, and they're a pretty decent team now. But the positions that come open come from what? Bad teams. The good teams usually don't have a lot of coaching changes. They don't. Now, Mark Jackson did a good job in Golden State. The foundation was there. And, of course, Mark Jackson is a black man. But he was let go. Steve Kerr comes in, and guess what? They win 3 championships. So I don't even think that race should come into play. And I do believe that Mark Jackson is a very, very good coach. But it just so happened that Steve Kerr, I'm getting names confused, the white guy, took them over the hump. That's just the way it works. So when these opportunities come up, you're just not going to be on a very, very good team. That's the problem right there. Teams that are bad, they're going to be in the hunt for coaches. And then whoever gets hired, you know, whether it's black or white, they're going to struggle because the teams aren't very good. The organization isn't very good. So that's what I say. Players just want to win, I believe. When it comes to the coaching part, they want to win. They want the best person for the job. Now, I know that there's some guys out there, names out there. I know Sam Cassell name was out there. You know, he hasn't been a head coach yet. It's very hard to get these jobs, man, especially with the good teams. So, Byron Scott, man, I disagree with what he said. I just believe that players are just going to push for the guys they want, and I don't think they see color with that. But that's just the way I think the players think, okay? Now, if Phil Jackson came up out of retirement, let's say Phil Jackson was still in his prime as a coach, you mean to tell me that you wouldn't want to take him just for an identity politics type of thing? No, you take Phil Jackson, you know? You're always going to take him over probably anybody else, regardless of color. And Phil Jackson just so happens to be white. That's all I really got to say about it, folks. I don't agree with Byron Scott on this. I just don't. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Byron Scott saying that the players do not do a good enough job pushing for black coaches. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.